There are two key components to thought reform in the sentence that I am about to read you, and I wonder if you can pick these out. Are you ready? This comes from the Methodist Church in the United Kingdom. Quote, "As Christians, we need to have the courage for conversations that can sometimes be difficult, to recognize that we sometimes exclude people, to listen with humility, to repent of any hurtful language or imagery, and to take care of how we listen and what we say, write, or depict in the Spirit of Christ." End of quote. Okay. The fact of the matter is, that's a very long sentence. It's very poorly written, but that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the fact that there are thought reform, brainwashing techniques, components in that sentence. Did you pick them out? Well, actually, there's more than two, but there's two primary that I saw. They are these. The first one is language loading, or in this case, it would be language unloading. We learned this from Robert J. Lifton, who is a psychologist. If he's still alive, he's probably 100 years old, but this guy studied over in China and in Korea, South Korea, I believe. He studied the thought reform, brainwashing techniques of the communist Chinese, and he understood that they would interject certain words in their language and take words out that didn't support their ideology. But there's something else he taught that, to me, that he called that language loading, by the way, or loading of the language is the way he said it. But there's something else he said, and that is that he talked about something he called confession. And in confession, he discovered that what the Chinese would do is they would torture people, and they would do that until they confessed. So people would confess just so they'd quit torturing them, right? So cool. But then they'd go back and torture them again and make them confess to even more. And they would do this over and over and over again. And according to Lifton, they would do this sometimes as long as 3 years. And what he discovered was, eventually, these people who were forced to confess would come to agree with the communist that they were actually guilty of these things they didn't do, but they confessed to doing them. So if you confess to something over and over and over again, you will come to believe that you actually did it. Is that in this sentence? Yes, it is. It says to repent of any hurtful language. So if you confess or repent of using hurtful language, you will come to believe eventually, sometimes right off the bat, that you were using hurtful language. So the objective here is to recognize when the woke left tells you to confess or to repent of something. This is a church, so they use the churchy word repent, the ecclesiastical term repent. But normally they will have us apologize or to confess of past sins. Now we see that, for example, with white people who are confessing of slavery, of the sin of slavery. That is a thought reform technique. Did you recognize that? They will have, this was a school in Australia, and they had the little boys apologize to the little girls. They had a big school meeting, and they had all the little boys turn around to the little girls and apologize for whatever. That was a thought reform technique. They were brainwashing the little boys into believing they were somehow guilty of whatever males, the male hierarchy, whatever. Patriarchy is what I was thinking of, and that's in this sentence. To repent of any hurtful language. So we say that, I'm repenting, I'm confessing, over and over and over again. This is in a guide from the Methodist Church, again, in the United Kingdom, that is called the Inclusive Church Language Guide. Okay, they need to repent of that because they're calling this inclusive, but they're excluding certain words. That's a misnomer. It's not inclusive, it's exclusive. What's more, they're not only excluding the words, but they are excluding people who use the words, making them feel guilty. They're sinners because they did not repent of using the words. Well, what were the words? Well, the words were husband and wife. Those offend some people. Now, they're not too concerned about individuals who don't have a mate. They're concerned about individuals who do have a mate, say both of them are husbands and both of them are wives. Okay, seems to me what they're doing here is they're not so concerned about offending people as they are about pushing a particular agenda. Franklin Graham enters the scene and he makes this observation. Franklin Graham, by the way, is the son of the late, great Billy Graham evangelist. He said, shame on the Methodist Church. These are biblical terms. And marriage between a man and a woman is biblical truth. The word wife is used some 300 in some 360 verses in 38 books in the Bible. End of quote. Well, that to me just raises another question. Why does the Methodist Church in the United Kingdom even consider itself a church? Why do they even consider itself religious? Why do they consider themselves Christian in any form? If they are rejecting the Bible, they're really not Christians. You know, I mean, it's okay to agree with Christians on certain points, I guess. But these people, they're pretending to be Christians, and what they're doing is they're taking their brand of Christianity and they're reforming it into a woke, far-left Marxist brand of Christianity. Well, the point of this video is we need to be conscious, I mean, supremely conscious, of the woke left when they present these strategies, technologies, if you will, to change our minds. And that's exactly what they're doing here. If you got something out of this video, would you consider subscribing to this brand new YouTube channel? I think we have maybe 10 subscribers so far. Give the video a thumbs up if you think it deserves it. Share it on social media. That helps a lot. And if you've got an opinion, something you want to share, leave us a comment in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. Take care, and we'll see you next time.